Hello and welcome. This is Lady Nevaeh, and I am here to read a book on manners to children. And this book on manners is in the bathroom. Okay, we're going to talk about what you do in the bathroom. Let's get started. All right. It was bedtime, and Peter Panda was in the bathroom with his father. Here is your toothbrush, said Papa Panda, putting a pea-sized amount of toothpaste on it. Peter brushed his teeth in front, and he brushed his teeth in back. He even brushed his tongue. He did a very good job. So, this is Peter Panda, and that's Papa Panda. Do you brush your teeth at night before you go to bed? I hope so. All right. Now that your teeth are brushed, you need to take a bath, said Papa Panda. Peter loved bath time. Do you enjoy bath time? He has a little ducky in his bathtub. Papa Panda filled the bathtub with warm water. While the water gushed out of the faucet, Peter poured bubble bath into his tub. Soon it was full of suds, and Peter climbed in. Squeak! Peter squeezed his rubber ducky, and it quacked at him with a squeaky quack. Do you have a rubber ducky that you can use in your tub? After Peter played in the tub for a while, Papa Panda said, "Now it's time to wash." Peter lathered himself with soap. His body was covered with suds. He rubbed and scrubbed until all of the dirt was gone. Then Peter poured shampoo on his head and washed his hair. Wow, he's getting a good job done. Do you do this at bath time? Are you allowed to do that? To wash yourself? After his bath, Peter Panda needed to go to the potty. Papa Panda dried Peter off and lifted him onto the toilet. Peter waited and waited, and finally he was able to go. Wow! I'm proud of you, son, said Papa Panda. Using the big potty means you're growing up. And that's true. Do you use the big potty at your home? That does mean that you're growing up. Ooh. After Peter finished using the potty, he wiped with the toilet paper. Peter flushed the potty and watched the water swirl and disappear. Do you do that? Do you watch the water swirl and disappear? He waved goodbye to the water. Then Peter stood at the sink and washed his hands with soap and water. He was all done. He did this after going to the potty. See him washing his hands? He had to stand on a little stool he's standing on, but he is doing the job. And here's some pointers. Using the bathroom. Hand washing is very important. Whether it's after you use the bathroom, when you finish playing outside, or before eating a meal. Washing your hands with soap and warm water is a habit worth having. And that's true. Germs and dirt and other icky things stick to the skin on your hands. You don't want those germs and dirt getting into your mouth or getting onto others. So when you've done playing or pottying, and before you eat, wash those icky things right off of your hands. Washing your hands wasn't the only thing Peter Panda did right in the bathroom. There were many other important bathroom behaviors he did as well. Peter Panda brushed his teeth to keep them shiny and healthy. Brushing yours 2 times a day. Peter Panda took a bath, washing his body and shampooing his hair. Take a bath or shower to keep clean. Not only will bathing make you feel better, playing in the tub is a blast. Peter Panda also went potty. Sometimes that's what everyone does. Maybe you're already using the big potty. If so, keep it up. If not, keep practicing on your special potty, and soon enough you'll get there too. Using the bathroom is an important part of your day. Doing all the big bathroom things like Peter Panda will leave you feeling clean and healthy. Now, those were some great things to remember about in the bathroom manners. Next, we're going to talk about Selfish Giant. The Selfish Giant. And this is the storybook about love. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. We're reading this from Phoenix International Publications. The Story of Love, The Selfish Giant. Let's see what this is all about. Once there was a giant who lived in a large castle near the center of town. It was a very fine castle, yet the giant was seldom at home to enjoy it. Instead, he spent many years traveling recklessly from place to place. While the giant was away, the children of the town came to play in his garden each day after school. It was the most beautiful garden in the land, and some said it was enchanted. Wow! Inside the garden was summer all year long. The trees never lost their leaves, the flowers were always in bloom, and the weather never got cold. Sometimes it rained, but only at night when the children were asleep in their beds. It was always sunny again in the morning. The children skipped rope, swung from the trees, and played games in the enchanted garden. When they grew hungry, they plucked fruit from the trees and ate it. The children were very happy in the garden. They look happy, don't they? Yes. One day, the giant returned home. He had grown weary during his travels and longed for peace and quiet of his castle. Instead, loud noise greeted him when he arrived. He heard happy shouts and sounds of laughter. When he looked out the window, he saw children playing games and eating fruit from the trees of his garden. "What are you children doing here?" said the giant. "This is my garden. I will allow no one to play here but myself." Oh boy, that wasn't nice. Wow, he's telling them. The children were very frightened and ran away as fast as their legs would carry them. With that, the giant placed a heavy lock on the gate to the garden. He also hung a wooden sign on the garden wall, announcing that no one was allowed to enter. This satisfied the giant. Finally, he growled to himself, "I will have peace and quiet." He was very selfish giant, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Wow, it's not good to be selfish. Let's see what happened. Now, the children no longer had a place to play. They would walk sadly past the garden on their way home from school and remember the fun they once had there. One day they stopped by the gate. A curious boy wanted to see the garden, so he climbed on top of his friend's shoulders and peeked over the wall. The boy gasped at what he saw. The leaves of the tree were turning orange and falling to the ground. Wow. The grass was now thin and brown. The flowers had wilted and the tree branches drooped. "What happened to our wonderful garden? It looks like it's dying," said the boy. The children were miserable. Wow. A few even began to cry. Their beautiful garden was no longer enchanted. The garden had become a very cold and lonely place. The birds had fled away, and only sound that could be heard was the mournful cry of the cold wind as it blew through the empty branches. Oh, that's a shame. Let's see what's happening. One day, a lovely red flower poked its head out of the ground. Ooh, the giant noticed it from his window and hoped it would grow tall and strong. Instead, a gush of wind roared through the garden and scared the little flower back underground. The giant sighed. He did not understand what was happening to his garden. It was once so beautiful, but now it's dull and cold. Well, sighed the giant, at least now I have peace and quiet, and I don't have to share my garden with anyone anymore. These thoughts made the giant feel better. He truly was a selfish giant. The passing months brought even more changes to the garden. Stinging white snow swirled in the wind. Sharp circles of ice cubes hung from the trees. Nobody would play in the frozen garden, even if the giant had invited them inside. Wow. The giant was puzzled. He could see that it was no longer winter in the rest of the countryside. The weather had turned warm and sunny, and new green shoots were springing up everywhere. Why then was it so bleak in his garden? Something's not right, the giant said. He began to wish for a beautiful garden, for the children who had made it such a happy place. For the first time, the giant felt lonely. The children continued to stop by the gate after school, wishing they could play in the green garden. Oh, they remembered one day a loose stone fell out of the wall. The hole it left was big enough for the children to crawl through. They looked at each other and excitedly entered the secret passage one by one. The children knew that if the giant found them in his garden, he would be furious. But they missed the garden too much to stay away. Oh, wow. Then something incredibly happened. When their feet touched the ground, the snow began to melt. The grass turned green. The sun began to shine. When the children climbed and swung from the trees, new leaves appeared on the branches. Excuse me. From inside the castle, the giant heard a bird singing. Amazed, he went to the window. What was happening? The garden was coming back to life. The giant's eyes filled with tears. How selfish I have been, he said, shaking his head. He was very sorry for what he had done. Icicles still hung from one tree. A small boy looked up at the tree sadly. He wanted to climb it, but he could not reach even the lowest branch. The boy sat down under the tree and began to cry. Suddenly he felt a huge pair of hands gently lifting him up and set him on a branch. Instantly the icicles melted. They were replaced by fresh green leaves. Wow! Whose hands were those? Oh, we know. The surprised little boy turned to see the giant who had once roared with anger at the children. Now the giant smiled and patted the little boy on the head. The boy flung his arms around the giant's neck and kissed him on the cheek. The giant's heart melted quickly as the icicles. He was sorry he had been so selfish. Now he realized how much he had missed the children. When the other children saw that they would no longer have to fear the giant, they rushed over to him. The giant scooped them up and gave them each a giant-sized hug. It was wonderful to hear the children laugh again. Does this mean that we may play in your enchanted garden? Asked one child. The giant now realized that the children brought the magic to his garden. From now on, this is your garden, the giant said. You may come here to play whenever you wish. Aw, that was so nice. Okay, so this book was about love. In this story, the children teach the giant how to love. When the giant decides to lock his garden, he acts selfishly. He wants to be the only one who can enjoy it, but soon the garden turns cold and wintry. The giant realized that it was the children's love that made it beautiful. When the children returned to the garden and it brought back to life, the giant lets love into his heart. The children show the giant that sharing his garden increases its beauty for everyone. Oh, that was so nice. The selfish giant wasn't selfish after all, but he had to learn not to be selfish. Do you know of any friends or family members that might have been selfish at one time and you showed them love and then they changed? That's a good thing. The selfish giant. Okay, we have the last book today, and it's called A Helping Hand, and this is another book on manners. Let's see what we have here. It was a beautiful summer day. The sun was shining, flowers were blooming, bees were buzzing, birds were chirping. Polly Puppy headed out into her neighborhood for a walk. She was in a very good mood because of the weather. It was going to be a very good day. And you see her at her door, Polly Puppy. As Polly walked down the sidewalk, she saw Mrs. Cow leaving a store. Mrs. Cow was pushing her baby in the stroller. "Let me hold the door for you," Polly said. "Why, thank you, Polly," said Mrs. Cow. "What a big help you are." And that was nice of Polly to do that. Mrs. Cow wasn't the only one who Polly helped that day. Polly saw another neighbor who could use a helping hand. Mrs. Whiskers was about to cross the street. Mrs. Whiskers walked very slow and had trouble seeing. "Let me help you cross the street," said Polly. "Thank you," said Mrs. Whiskers. "You are the most helpful little puppy I have ever known or met." Isn't that nice? Yes, that was so nice of her, Polly. As Polly continued her walk, she saw her favorite neighbor, Officer Barker. He was directing traffic and making sure everyone in the neighborhood stayed safe. "Hello, Officer Barker," said Polly. "I've been helping others today, just like you do. I want to be a police officer, too." "I'm proud of you, Polly," said Officer Barker. "Keep being kind to others and lending a helping hand, and you will be well on your way." Wow. Do you lend a helping hand to others who need help? It could be something like holding the door open, or either helping in the kitchen with your mommy, or either getting the newspaper for your daddy from the front door, or just picking up your toys. That's a big help too. Further down the street, Polly spotted her good friend, Huey Hippo. Oh, there's Huey Hippo. He's got blue pants on. Oops. Huey was hanging a picture up. He looked really sad. "What's wrong, Huey?" said Polly. "Why are you sad?" "I lost my pet frog," said Huey. "I'm putting up posters so people know to look for him." "I'll lend a helping hand," said Polly. "We'll look for him together." Wow, that was nice. They're going to look for them together. Together, Polly and Huey looked all over the place for Huey's pet frog. They looked under things and over things. They looked in big places and little places. "Here, Froggy," Polly called. Come out, wherever you are," said Huey. "I found him," Polly said. Sure enough, helpful Polly Puppy had spotted the frog. Look at the frog. He's right there beside the trash can. Can you see him? Okay. As she walked home, Polly saw her little brother, Piercy Puppy, on the playground and being a helpful big sister, Polly gave Piercy a push. What helping hands. So he got to swing higher because his sister pushed him. That was nice. The duty of the strong. You are the oldest, you are the tallest. Don't you think you ought to help the youngest and the smallest? You are the strongest, you who are the quickest. Don't you think you ought to help the weakest and the sickest? Never mind the trouble, help them all you can. Be a little woman, be a little man. That was cute. That was another book of manners, A Helping Hand. And I hope you've learned something from that today. And I will be coming again with more books on manners and also on subjects that pertain to different virtue stories of virtue. So have a good day, and please go and subscribe at bit.ly/kids Storytime. And you will see my YouTube channel, and all of my stories will be archived there. But I need subscribers. I need you to subscribe. So please go and subscribe. It's free, and it lets you know when the next stories are going to be live so that you can put comments down, and I'll be able to answer them. Take care. This is Lady Nevaeh wishing you a great day. Bye now. Thank you for your time. And I want to welcome all my replay viewers. If I don't have any live viewers, I'm welcoming my live viewers and my replay viewers. Bye now. Thank you for looking and listening.